paper magic will survive like the heat death of the universe, and will...
Oh, it's a smuggler's copter. Would you like to crew this? And then it crashes because they don't understand arithmetic.
All your cards belong to me.
2 minutes into macing him in the eyeballs, I switched to pepper spray. He's like, yeah, it's all right, refreshing. And went back to the mace.
Magic is dying. I'm done. Selling everything.
I might be a hoarder. And
I
yes,
don't have the crayons or glue to explain this to you right now.
What, are you gonna die twice?
Oil will be worthless before magic cards will.
well, okay, Dr. Man.
That's Mr. Dr. Professor Jason.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Brainstorm Brewery. I'm Corbin Hostler, also known as the guy who ordered Hullbreachers last weekend, so that's a bit of an oops. Welcome into the show. Joined, as always, by my co-hosts, Jason and DJ. I see Jason struggling to crack a beer right now.
Struggling?
I didn't hear a crack. I didn't hear a pop.
It's got a cork.
Well, I didn't hear it uncork. You should have used a sword.
I got a sword as a housewarming gift yesterday.
I don't know
Okay.
if you could saber a beer.
I don't know
how that works.
DJ got one to try anyway. DJ, keep us posted on how that goes. But this week, everybody, we have a very special guest on. It is one of the OG Magic Finance people in all of the community. He's been involved in everything across the board at this point. John Medina, welcome to the show. How's it going, man?
Hey, how's it going, guys? It is good to see you, and it's good to be here. Thank you for the invite.
John was banned for 400 episodes, and his ban is
We're on
up.
a roll.
The last time we chatted was at that steakhouse in Indy.
Yeah, that's right. I came up to you on the day after, and I was like, hey, we should catch up sometime. And you're like, didn't we just do that yesterday? And I felt like this big. I'm like, that's true. And I'm like, well, I didn't really have a good good retort. I was just like, yeah, okay, I'm dumb. I'll see you later. Bye, DJ.
You got DJ'd a little bit right there. Well, welcome in. For those who don't know, Medina has been a part of the Magic community ever since I got in. First, I guess, gained some notoriety with the Pact of Power series forever ago. It was honestly the first Magic Finance article I ever read. So in a way, you're to blame for all of Brainstorm Brewery. Just thought you should know.
It's funny. I was looking back to see when the last time I was on the cast was, and I saw that actually I hosted Brainstorm Brewery episode 1 on Legit MTG back then.
It's true.
Yeah.
I wrote some I wrote some of my favorite articles for that website.
Yeah. There was an article that you wrote that a lot of people did not understand, but I thought it was really rad. Man, what was it called? It was like sounded like a breakup and some other stuff going on. It's been years.
I got pretty experimental back then. That was a big time for those who don't know in Magic writing, where Magic writing really took off in the sense that people were getting credit not for their theory pieces per se or their latest deck lists, but there was a moment where like how much can you push yourself as a writer and still make it relate to Magic, because there was just an explosion of content at that time. So I took all of my more I don't know the right word, less concrete ideas, some of my more abstract pieces, and you were kind enough to let me publish them there. So it was fun. It was great all around.
That was a good time, man. That was a fun moment in time for sure.
Yeah, well, welcome back to the show. We're on a roll. We had Ruben on after our huge break. We've got Medina back. We're going to have to go comb those first 50 episodes for guests to bring back.
We're playing the hits. I wonder what Jeff Saturn's up to.
Not everybody is going to be alive, though, right?
Well.
Like, it's been 10 years almost.
I don't want to hear the math. Never tell me the odds. Anyways, John, what are you up to these days? Where are people likely to come across you on the internet?
So, I've been super active in my Discord. So I've just been building. I've been building my website, alchemistrefuge.shop, and kind of building a community. We'll get into this a little bit later, but around this website and the different things I'm doing with the website. So I'm selling singles. I'm doing Pack Club and some other stuff. And so I've just been kind of hanging out in there. That's been my main thing, is like, I used to spend a lot of time on Twitter, but I've really transitioned a lot of my just content and thoughts into my Discord. And the Discord is growing and community is growing there. So that's kind of what I'm up to at the moment. Just, I'm trying a lot of crazy things. Like I was telling you guys before the cast, I created a Discord bot that gives out treasure, and it's like a little mini economy. inside of our Discord and stuff like that. And yeah, it's really cool. So that kind of stuff, I'm learning coding. So I've been doing some coding stuff to help me have tools to, there's a bunch of stuff, as you guys know, when you're selling Magic cards and stuff, there's a bunch of tools that you could use. For me, one of the things is, I haven't built this yet, but I'm thinking about it, is like when I get a list from someone who's like, I want to sell my collection, they usually send me like a TCG player list or something from out of the app. I would love to just like take all that, like scrape it, and then compare it to like what I sell things for and come up with a price. Like, so I would love for them to just copy it, paste it into my website and say, like, give me an offer. And then based on math and stuff like that, just spit something back out at them. So that stuff is totally doable when you start looking at the different options and stuff you have with coding. So I've been building a database and starting to work through that kind of thing.
That's nice. I mean, that's, anything like that can kind of push the market forward or the business forward. We've seen a lot of innovation over the past decade or 5 years or so with stores that have really done a great job at that sort of thing. We're going to talk about a little bit of the box breaks that you've been pioneering a little bit on Twitch later. That'll be fun. In the meantime, though, we do have to get to some breaking news here. Hullbreacher's been banned. It is no more for Commander.
Is that a bait segue to Breaking Bulk that you just hard swerved out of?
Yeah,
I'll swerve right back in.
Like, speaking of breaking, here's some breaking news about
breaking news.
Breaking Breacher. We did it.
Breaking band news. Hullbreacher's banned. I say good riddance. Okay. I wondered if you would come down with me on this one.
I played it in one deck because I needed the mana.
Yeah, I'm a little salty that I ordered some and they're going to arrive now after it's been banned, but...
Oh, it's a Merfolk. I can't just be like, I love my Merfolk key.
It is legacy. It's legacy playable, actually, for what it's worth. I'll say this, though, on the topic. I'm happy because not just... Like, I hadn't actually had any really negative experiences with Hullbreacher. When people play it in my group, it's generally, it gets you, but no one's playing a bunch of wheels with it. So it was sort of how it was meant to be used, and it felt fine. That said... It was basically it was a $25 auto include in every blue deck in Commander. So I'm always going to be happy to see that.
I don't know about that. I disagree. I disagree because, like, I don't think Commander players play like that, where it's like, oh, this is an auto include. Like, a lot of Commander players will just build the deck with the cards that they like, the ones, especially the ones who, I feel like the announcement kind of like aligned with casual players because they were like, well, casual players, they don't know, to not put this in their deck or something like that. I don't know what it was saying something about that. But to me, it's like those players are the ones who typically just play with what they, their own ideas, and I'm with Jason. I had it in one deck. It was in my CEDH deck and that's it. I don't think I feel like the banning has a conflict with like the philosophy of Commander because the philosophy. Do you agree, Jason? Because I was like, oh man, Jason might disagree with this.
No, man. Like
the entire.
I don't think so.
Cyclonic Rift is in more blue decks than Island. Like.
Yeah, the natural conflict that there's always going to be is that on the one hand, EDH is always going to be a Rule 0 format where whatever goes in your play group goes. My group plays without Soul Ring. But on the other hand, there's a lot of people who want to play optimized strong decks while not playing CDH. And you can just basically never convince yourself that your deck isn't going to be better without Hullbreacher, right? So every time I pick up a deck that didn't have Hullbreacher in it yet, I was like, wow, I really wish I had a Hullbreacher right now when someone drew 5 cards or whatever, right? And I had some other card in my hand instead. It was just, it's one of those cards that to me always just felt bad not to be playing just because of how powerful it was. So I'm actually happy that like it's more like now I don't have to put Hullbreacher in every blue deck. I have to feel like I'm doing the right thing. I can just put in whatever card I want instead. But I mean, the tension between Rule 0 and optimizing is always going to be there, right?
Corbin is filibustering hard here. If I could interject, I think this is sort of like the people should have the freedom not to get the vaccine rule, or that idea, right? Like, in an ideal situation, everyone has the freedom and they'll get vaccinated because they're good people, but they should have the freedom not to. And like in practice, 50% of the country isn't vaccinated. So, like, you were having a whole pod that was subject to the one person's like, yeah, I know that there's social pressure. I mean, I have to play Hullbreacher, but what if I won a casual friendly game for no prizes at the expense of everyone else getting to play their decks? What if I did that? That's my kink. So, like, sometimes you just have to take those toys away from people because there's no way to use Hullbreacher in a way that doesn't make the table unable to play their deck. You know? It's like, I realize that Hullbreacher mostly died for Windfall sins, you know? Or maybe Narset, but like...
That's the other thing, too, is like it died for Windfall sins and Wheel of Fortune and Reforge the Soul and like there's... You can't ban 7 wheels for the design mistake of one card. You ban the design mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think
and
it's like...
Hullbreacher, it gets played in other formats. It's fine. And maybe some people who understand EDH should be designing cards for these sets. I don't know. That's a crazy idea, but it could work.
In my mind, I've always linked Hullbreacher with Opposition Agent because they're both 3-mana creatures with flash that were created to get other things.
Everyone thought Opposition Agent was going to... Nobody bitched about Hullbreacher during preview season.
Did you
guys remember when everyone's like, Opposition Agent? Bleh.
I do. DJ, go ahead.
Corbin, Opposition Agent is a rogue. Hullbreacher is not. I do not get to play Hullbreacher in Sync.
Good point, DJ. That is a good point.
You shouldn't be playing Opposition Agent on webcam anyway. I think a lot of what is attenuated Opposition Agents, you know, the issues with it, I think a lot of it is people just don't want to dick with it on webcam. Even if you're the kind of person that doesn't care, you're like, what, are you going to make them fan through their deck? You want a deck list ahead of time? It's like, it's just not good to play on webcam. And there are cards that I like Bribery and Acquire and stuff like that I really love to play that I've cut. I don't even play Gonti anymore. I don't play Gonti. The 75th black card ever made. I don't play it because it's just such a pain on webcam.
That's
DJ
fair.
stopped playing webcam Magic altogether because he can't play his Gonti deck.
Go with that.
But the difference between Hullbreacher and Opposition Agent is like Hullbreacher can be used offensively, right? Because you can Hullbreacher and then you can Windfall. With Opposition Agent, you're doing it off of their search thing. So it's like they're punishing. It's like stop hitting yourself, you know?
Yeah.
It's always reactive.
It's punishing somebody for having a good turn versus punishing somebody for, you know, tutoring, which is not something every deck does.
And it honestly feels fair, right? If you try to demonic tutor to go get your Cabal coffers and someone's like, Opposition Agent, I'm just kind of like, yeah, that's fair. I was going to do something broken, you know? But you're right. The difference with Hullbreacher is that it was used offensively. So it's felt like, at least in, you know, my experiences, Opposition Agent in paper has been a good inclusion to the format, whereas Hullbreacher, maybe not. So personally happy to see it go. I guess if we wanted to talk the financials of it, if the price plummets on it, keep in mind the card is played a little bit in Legacy. So that's a thing.
Well, the other thing to keep in mind there. Now, I guess I won't give the hot take about actually before we leave playability thing. To me, it's like, look, okay, if you play a Hullbreacher and you Windfall, essentially you win the game. It's like, but why are we protecting people from someone else winning the game? I mean, okay, they won the game, like, it's over, like, shuffle your cards.
3.
I mean, okay, then, like, that's the whole Rule 0 thing. Then you're like, okay, dude, like, we don't want to play with Hullbreacher. Like, don't do that.
Rule 0 has prevented a lot of degenerate cards from ruining ADH. Rule 0 could not prevent Primeval Titan and, Hullbreacher. Like, even with Rule 0 in place and people being like, yeah, I don't really want to end the game on turn 3 in a casual webcam game. Even with all that in place, Hullbreacher was still oppressive. So saying Rule 0 will take care of it, I think that actually kind of strengthens the Rule 0 argument because, like, Rule 0 takes care of everything that's fine, and the stuff that's still oppressive afterwards is what you need to look at pruning. So I think Rule 0 actually selected for the stuff that you can only solve with a ban.
Well, remember, for instance...
That's a good point.
Yeah, everyone was up in arms about Turgid, right? And Turgid is obviously incredibly powerful, but it seems maybe like the format has just self-selected a little bit, where don't see a lot of talk about Turgid anymore.
Turgid is more oppressive than Hullbreacher. Yeah. It is. But
Yeah.
just like nobody really played. I
But
played
no,
it
you're right,
once
it's
and
a-
resolved a pox, and then like that was
Yeah,
it.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. People have sort of self-selected where it's just not really that fun or whatever. But also the fact that Hullbreacher has such a wide range and from good to bad, right? Even if you're not playing I'm playing Hullbreacher, but I'm not playing Hullbreacher wheels. Well, then you have Hullbreacher in your hand, and your opponent plays a wheel. What are you supposed to do? Like that's
Cast it.
that's just a bad position to be in. So even if your deck isn't broken or whatever, the card can still be broken and lead to ruined games. And that's the other thing is that if this just actually ended the game, I'd have less problem with it. But in a 4-player game, hole breaching people where they don't get to draw extra cards but it doesn't always win the game. It sometimes just makes the game last for a very long time.
All right, here's the finance deep cut. There may come a time where CEDH and EDH become two different formats. And if that happens and the ban list shifts, then Hullbreacher will again raise in price, in my opinion. So that's something to and there's a lot of, I'm seeing a lot of this tension between CEDH and EDH and trying to keep them both under one ban list, trying to keep the attitudes separate, right? Because sometimes the competitive players sit down with the people who are just trying to like have an experience. And so like, I think there's a case to be made for seeing that split in the future.
Sheldon will never do it.
Okay.
He's so against it, and
Yeah, they're very against
a lot of people
I don't
on
think it's a good
on the
thing.
CAG and the RC think that would be a detriment to EDH. Why they think that, I have no idea. I couldn't agree less, possibly. But I'm on the CAG for lots of reasons, so my opinion doesn't matter. But just let them be a separate format, because I'm just so sick of hearing CEDH people complain about Flash Hulk. Never gets played in casual, or complaining about like some of the bands that they think are fine. Just go be your own format, and then you don't have to worry about the RC's ban list. You don't have to. All their complaints are about how the RC's out of touch with what they're doing. Cool. Go be your own format then. Have your own ban list.
They don't want to split it because it fractures Commander in a sense, and it's not a ideally it's not a good thing from that perspective because it weakens the player base of Commander in a sense.
To the extent that
I don't
Brawl
know if that's
existing
true or not.
weakens.
Like,
does Brawl
the
existing
standard modern existing
Commander?
fracture construction? No, it just
Yeah.
lets people have their different flavors of cake.
And then you have a new deck.
I'm assuming that's why they're doing it. I'm not saying like that's my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't like that argument because Brawl and Tiny Leaders and that shit existing didn't weaken EDH. It's just you have a deck for this format. You have a CEDH deck and you play it and there's a different ban list.
I think that the arguments that I think that argument probably worked better 5 years ago than it does now. Now Commander's the most popular way to play Magic. It's not holding on by a thread that's going to get fractured up and ruined. But at the same time, there's, as far as I know, not the equivalent to a rules committee for CEDH. There's no, that's sort of the difference. Is that the only reason there's a rules committee for EDH in the first place is because it was kind of grandfathered in, literally, when Wizards made it, created Commander out of it. There's no really structure in place for CEDH. So, and considering that line, it's not a different format, it's just a different power level. It does make it really hard on people walking into a store to have multiple ban lists, I think. Right. I think I see that. I see that argument.
But the thing that opened me up to that was because Sheldon was talking about fracturing EDH in one of his articles where he was talking about these different varying ways to play EDH and all this stuff. And I was like, well, wait a second. Sure, like Jason says, you have like a Snow Battles deck and you have an EDH deck and you have a Brawl deck. Sure, but if he's open to that kind of thing, then I think CEDH could be, the other thing is, I think it's legal in Canadian Highlander still, right? And that format seems to be, interestingly, I feel like that format is slowly kind of building a little bit, the Canadian Highlander community. So
I hope so. I love that format.
Show us your deck.
That's
me?
man.
I don't play Canadian
That's
Highlander.
mean, man. That's mean, man. I used to have a, I had a,
Wow.
I had a fully foiled Canadian Highlander deck, complete with the near mint library of Alexandria. It got stolen at a pro tour, and it's a big sad. Thanks, though, for the reminder of that, everybody.
Man, taking it right down to the dumps. Wow.
I'm gonna let you forget.
Yeah. Don't worry, nobody does.
Rip.
It's a big sad. It's a big sad. All right, then. It's time to move on that note. It's time for Breaking Bulk, everybody.
Breaking headsets. Break. Oh, yeah. Broke his headset.
This man's breaking my will right now.
It's a bad headset. The end.
Breaking bulk time. Breaking bulk time. Break.
Oh, yeah, breaking bulk. There's so much good stuff.
It's a pick. Breaking bulk. The end.
All right, everybody, we might have lost DJ to some technical difficulties, but it's still time.
That's going to be a
Breaking
hard
Bulk.
cut for people that like didn't see the last 15 minutes of his tech issues slowly snowballing. So it's going to be a hard cut back to like, all right, screw it, no DJ. And
Well,
then
yeah,
just,
look, we
he's
did
gone.
the Breaking DJ song, and now
Well-
DJ's gone.
You should cut all the technical difficulties into the podcast so they can see the degrade over time.
DJ moved. We'll cut him a break this week. But Medina, we'll let you get us started then here in Breaking Bulk. Go ahead.
All right. Let's see how good you guys are. I'm gonna say it's from Mirage,
I'm
and
out.
it is an uncommon.
That's all you're telling us? An uncommon from Mirage.
Isn't it? Doesn't it work like this? Like we say it and then you try to get another clue.
No,
or something
that's
like
correct.
That.
But
Yeah, like
Mirage is the
So people think it's bulk, but it's not. Don't people think every card in Mirage is bulk?
Mirage is the palm tree, right?
Yes, the
yeah,
palm tree.
palm tree, and I think people would think this is bulk. Yeah.
I have no idea what's in that set.
Like people think $35 rares from Mirage are bulk, though. To be I'm gonna need a color.
Okay, white.
Mangara's Equity.
No. And Corbin's out, right? Are you going to try?
I
Corbin?
mean,
I was thinking Honorable Passage, but that's Visions.
I do not know a lot of cards from that set. I feel like there's only a couple commons and uncommons I even picked from that set.
It's not legend. It's not like Zuberi Golden Feather or something like that is uncommon. I thought it was rare. It's not a legend, is it?
No, it's not a legend. It's not a creature. It's not a creature.
It's not a creature.
And it's not like something silly like a tutor.
No, it's not Enlightened Tutor or Worldly Tutor.
Miraculous Recovery.
Okay, well, you've hit the end of the cards I know from the set.
No.
It's not Miraculous Recovery. Wowzers. I'm going to feel real dumb. Because there's like 5 uncommon white cards in Mirage.
Let me know when you say uncle.
I give up.
I looked it up. This is a good one. Go ahead and tell him.
All right, it's Illumination. It's 2 white, and it's a counter spell in white. Counter target artifact
That's
or
not
enchantment
rare?
spell. No, that's an uncommon.
Okay, cool.
That spell's
You got
caster
me.
gains life equal to the casting cost. Yeah. I was going to go with one that I thought was going to be way easier, which is Withering Boon, which is the black
Oh, I
counter
would've-
spell.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
would
would've-
rules, and that's also Mirage. You
Yeah.
pay 3 life or something like that.
Yeah, it's a remove soul that's black that you pay 3 life. But yeah, I was like, I think Jason will get the Withering Bloom because it's so good in Commander. But yeah, Illumination is like, depending on where you look, it's between $1 and $3, and
Not bulk.
not bulk.
Not bulk at all.
Very solidly not bulk. I got a not bulk pick. It is from, I guess we're not doing banned sets anymore, but this set was never banned. It is from Urza's Destiny, and it is common.
That's a
And
bottle.
It is
Bottle.
black.
It's the bottle.
It's
Urza's
an
bottle.
Erlenmeyer flask.
Urza's bottle.
It's not a bottle. It's an Erlenmeyer flask. Erlenmeyer
Okay.
flasks don't seal at the top. Bottles seal.
It's a common, you said?
It's a common from Saga, and it is black.
From Destiny, not
Destiny,
Saga.
not
Yeah,
Saga.
okay.
Dark
In
ritual.
black. Bubbling muck.
It is bubbling muck. Oh,
Boom!
yes. It pays to have the list of cards in that. No, I'm just kidding.
I
Yeah,
did not
bubbling
cheat.
muck.
I did
I
not
get these in
cheat.
bulk. A non-zero amount. This is not bulk. This is $3. Bubbling muck makes a lot of black mana. Anything that makes a lot of mana for a real low investment is a card you should pay attention to.
It's a high tide for black, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, essentially. Yeah.
that's exactly high tide for black, and yet,
That's a good card.
anyone who has cards this old, if they haven't picked the good stuff out already, they're not going to. So I just buy anytime I see old stuff in a collection, I'm just like, yeah, let's chance it.
Well, there was also a time where Bubbly Muck was still bulk, and even when High Tide was like, not bulk, there was still a time where Bubbly Muck was still bulk, and I would pick them out all the time because I'm like, it's a High Tide. It's got to be worth something.
But black has a hard time drawing as many cards as blue did. Like I get why.
Oh yeah. You can't make the same deck, right? The solidarity deck or solitaire deck or whatever it used to be called.
Yeah, or it's like hard to get enough storm to brain freeze somebody.
Yeah.
As it would be to tendril somebody. I don't know. Yeah.
All right. For anyone who's not a paper boomer, I've got a much newer set. Everyone's favorite standard set, Throne of Eldraine. It's a green uncommon.
Okay, Adversary.
No.
What? Really? Beanstalk Giant.
Nope.
Wow, green uncommon.
The Innkeeper guy?
Nope. It's an enchantment.
It's an enchantment, huh?
Man.
Why are you like this?
It does not make food tokens. I'll give you that. It's not Trail of Crumbs for anyone.
If you're at home thinking Trail of Crumbs,
then you probably played Historic.
Is it the Lignify thing?
Yeah, I think you probably got it. Yeah, so Kinrith's Transformation is what you're thinking of.
Oh, yeah. Man, that's a good one. Yeah,
it's a 2-mana aura. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. Enchanted creature loses all abilities and is an elk. It's the enchantment, version of the Oko broken ability. But it's a 75-cent uncommon out of Eldraine. It's a solid pick.
Yeah, it draws a card too. So it's sweet.
Yeah, it's worth more, as a matter of fact, than all those other green uncommons Jason named. So it's I'm not sure if it's just green removal or if there's something specific about it being an aura that, helps push it, but it's not really a standard card. It's not really a competitive card at all. So I don't know how popular it is on EDH Rec, but it's a 75 cent
I could
card.
look.
Well,
let's see if it's played more or less than the cards I named.
Enchantress is getting a lot of love in Commander right now.
Which
That's true.
Which is dumb. There's never been a worse commander to build around than Sithis.
But it doesn't make sense all the time. It's just
but it's also just the fact that it's not necessarily just the commander. It's sort of like
Corbin. Kenra's Transformation is in 14,000 decks. Okay, Adversary is in 11,000, and Beanstalk Giant is in 8,000.
There you go.
Kenra's Transformation is actually in more decks than any other green uncommon. Keeper of Fables would have been another good guess, but that is not going to be any money because that was in the EDH deck right away.
Mm-hmm. Adversary is more in CEDH decks though, right? It's not really
I think so.
Yeah, it's like a CEDH card because there's people play a lot of you need a black permanent to reduce it, right?
No, your opponent needs a green permanent.
A green permanent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a sweet card for sure.
But nobody runs creatures in CEDH, so you're getting hit by a 2/3 and you have no blockers, and they just
right
all day.
For sure. And Carpet of Flowers is pretty prevalent and stuff like that. So
yeah.
All right. Well, there you go, everybody. Breaking Bulk. If you want to see those, looking back, see how we've done in the past, so you can see all of our picks of the week. You can see DJs, which he'll add into the sheet at patreon.com/BSB. Join our Patreon. You will get access to Discord. You'll get access to glasses, beer glasses. I just sent out a huge round of those. So look for those, current patrons. You'll enjoy them. And you can get access to the spreadsheet with all of our picks of the week and Breaking Bolts at patreon.com/BSB. All right, let's move on and talk about something that you know quite a bit about, John, and we don't, and that is a box break. So for those who don't know, who have seen maybe people on Twitter talking about it or on Twitch or something like that, briefly, I guess, tell us what it is. What's the concept, and what have what's the space you've kind of been operating in? So,
I guess I'll just start with a little bit of pretext of how I got into it. I feel like for me, it was like a blessing from God to have an opportunity to do this, because like, I didn't like think about it. I didn't say, oh, I want a box break, or this will be a great like business thing. I was actually struggling during the pandemic, and like our mortgage was coming due, and I'm like, dude, I don't know how I'm supposed to make money. I mean, I was selling cards, I was buying collections, doing the normal, thing that you do as having a business like that. But it was like still really tough, and it looked like things didn't look good. And so, I prayed about that and just was like, man, I need some help. And I happened to be opening a box for content. So just like, I was trying to make content, hey, I'm opening this box for YouTube and saying, look, YouTubers, like I got this box. And I didn't have the money to open boxes. So I was like, hey, maybe I could set up something where they like prearrange like their packs. I open the packs for them, and then then I can open these boxes for content. I was thinking for a content thing. And so like that's not even what ended up happening. So basically a box break is you open product for somebody else. So there's a bunch of different configurations to do it. It's really big in sports cards, and in Magic, there's different people doing it now. So, and this is kind of something that started up in Magic and in Pokemon during the pandemic. And some people do these things called rip and ships in Pokemon. And, in Magic, they've taken on the sports card thing, box breaks. And
CFB pushed a bunch of it.
CFB's doing CFB box breaks. They have their own channel and stuff like that. So essentially, in Magic, the different configurations are the way that I do it. I have a thing called Pack Club. Okay. And, you can buy packs from my website. And then what I'll do is I'll open it on stream for you. And then I'll send you the contents of the pack. So we'll open it up. We'll be like, oh man, you hit a fetch land, sick, and then I'll put that aside. I label it and everything. And then, I'll send it out to the people who bought the packs. And so for me, that's how I do it. Some people do these box breaks where they say, all right, we're going to open a whole box. Okay. And then you buy a slot, and the slot that you buy, you're going to get randomly assigned a color. So you're going to say, okay, you got black, or you got lands, or whatever. And then everything of that color, you get that. And in sports, it's teams, right? Everything of that team, you get those teams, And yeah, and so that's the basic concept. And that's kind of how I got into it. Like I said, I was kind of like trying to build content. I was trying to do something to like, just to create content. And then I realized people wanted to start buying packs. And then I started selling a lot of packs, and it was like, oh wow, like this is a source of income, and it's right at the right time. Like I said, I was struggling financially, and I was just grateful to God that I had that opportunity to do that. And then what's even more crazy is that not only was it a source of income, but the communities that started to like build around these box breaks actually was much more successful than the content that I was creating. Like that community that got like kind of gathered around the box breaks. And it doesn't surprise me, because it's like, at first I was like, this is strange. Like I was observing it. I'm like, this is kind of strange that this is happening. I mean, I'm doing it. I'm trying to think of best ways to like make it interesting and exciting for people. But I'm like, this is interesting that this would happen. And it just reminds me, I started to think, it reminds me of being at an LGS. When you buy your box and you sit down at the table and your friends gather around and they watch you open your box, and then they're rooting for you because they want you to get cards. And then sometimes they want to trade stuff like, hey, did you open, are you going to use that? Like, let me trade that from you or whatever. And that same vibe and that same stuff happens in my community. I'll open something and someone will be like, oh, hey, Daniel, are you going to use that? Or, Logan, can we talk about that in the Discord? Let's trade for it. And that kind of stuff happens all the time. Also, the community is very generous in my sphere here. It's like people are giving stuff away that they open. Like, I mean, some wild things have been given away during the stream. Like, a guy named Daniel, we call him the legend or whatever, he gave away a foil Japanese demonic tutor.
That's a baller move.
Yeah, we were opening Strixhaven. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like flipping out. He opened it up, and he's like, give it away. And then I was like, dude, like, but seriously, like,
easy come, easy go, baby.
Think about it, man. And then he's like, just give it away, and I'm like, all right, it's gonna be the next giveaway. And people were just they were losing their mind. You know, obviously, I was just like, wow, this is insane.
Well, I think I think that's pretty cool because, you know, a lot of people at home are probably thinking, why would I buy a pack at retail for someone else to open it? But the community aspect of it you brought up kind of makes it you know, you're opening packs with your friends. You know, it can be a fun experience in that way.
I think there's a little bit more to it. It's like the community aspect, so everyone gets to watch, right? So if you're doing an LGS, like 5 people watch, right?
Yeah.
But if you do it like on my stream, you know, there could be, you know, up to 100 people watching, you know, and it's like, that's a lot, you know, it's like, wow. And everybody's rooting for you. So that is like something that's different than the LGS. The other thing is it's like double the experience because like first you get to open it on stream with everyone. Then you actually get mail, which I don't know if you, I love getting mail. Okay. I don't know.
Magic mail is fun.
I'm desensitized.
I don't know what it is. Yeah, I guess you're desensitized. But still, for me, every time I get magic mail, I'm always like, yes, you know. When I open my thing and I got like a big stack of envelopes, I'm just like, this is great. I'm going to open it, even though I know it's in there, even though, you know. And I think like
I don't.
you just forget what you bought, and then you get mail. That's a great feeling.
That's like my wife with Amazon, only she spends way more than we do on cards.
So yeah, I don't know. I feel like that double, getting the mail, getting the experience is something that people enjoy. And I mean, there's no debate that people enjoy it. I think just trying to figure out like the psychology of it and why, is interesting to me. So yeah.
I mean, I'm certainly somebody who likes to get on Twitch and gift subs to streamers. You know, like I have people I subscribe to, and then I like to gift subs to people occasionally. And it's the same kind of thing, right? There's no value in that except the community and supporting the content creator, right? So
listen, Corbin.
It's pretty neat.
Corbin, there is value in sending Jeff Bezos to space faster.
He lost. He lost. Man.
Yeah.
With not enough money to get back.
Yeah, Jeff Bezos lost his space race to Richard Branson.
He lost his being married race
to Bill Gates.
Who stayed married a couple months longer. Okay, the reason I ask about a box break is I have in my possession a sealed box of alliances that looks like dog. It has a lot of sun damage. The packaging is a little shredded, and the box price on eBay is kind of falling a little bit. So if I wanted to get full value, a lot of people in the high-end group where people buy those boxes have said you probably want to do a box break. So I'm not looking to open people's alliances packs. I'm just looking to break the box and send them to 45 different people. So what would something like that look like? If it were you and your experience with Pack Club, how would you handle having an alliances box that you wanted to get the most value from possible?
Right. So I would still do packs, but you could do the color thing. You could sell like, probably 6 slots, right? It would be like 5 colors and colorless. Wait, Alliance
is someone going to pay $500 for a slot though?
What's the box worth?
The box of alliances is worth about $3,000.
The weighting of blue is
yeah, exactly.
I think you're better
all
off
the values
doing
in
packs.
blue.
I think you're better off doing
lands.
packs. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is you don't get to pick when you do a box break. You don't get to pick I want blue. It's randomly assigned.
But do you think people are going to pay $500 for the chance for a 1 in 6 chance to get blue?
People pay.
I mean, that's like saying you think people are going to buy
boosters, Jason.
Yeah,
people gamble.
I've been surprised. I've been surprised. I've been surprised at the desire to open product that way, and what people are willing to spend on product in that way. Having it open like that.
So you're not saying I should sell 45 slots and mail out individual booster packs.
I don't think that's the wrong way to do it either, though.
No, I think you should. I think we should do it on the BSB stream, and you should just, maybe we can get some patrons in there, open up the slots, and you either do packs or colors or whatever you want, and we'll make a deal out of it. It sounds like fun.
Let's see. The booster packs, they're going for about, $70.
Yeah.
So if you have like how many? Is it 36 in the box?
45 at 70 is what? 350 plus 28, so it's 31.50 for a box if you got 70 a pack.
31.50. Okay.
Yeah.
And how much is the box where you say it was sitting at for value?
They were like 3,000 falling over the pandemic.
Okay, yeah, the PAX is easy, man. I think the PAX is easier because the other thing about the PAX is like people will be less inclined to say, I want to just gamble and see if I can get blue. But they'd be more interested in like, hey, I could open a pack and I could probably get a Force Wheel. It's a possibility, right?
They're
and
uncommon, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they were uncommon. So like, I think the PAX is a good idea.
Forces per box, yeah.
There's also the fact that you get like partial value out of it. Like let's say you sell 20 packs. Like you still have 20 packs left. 25.
True.
Whatever.
I think we should do it for a BSB stream after we're done with Resident Evil, which will hopefully be this week. We can set it up. We can. It'll be a good time.
There's also cards like Helm of Obedience, which is a reserve list
good
card.
Stuff in there. A lot of the reserve list stuff recently went up. Your Thought Lash, your Felionite Temple, stuff like that. That's Felionite Temple. Soldevi Excavations? Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The blue shit. The blue Kelder and Outpost. Like some of that stuff has started to go up just from decks or for the fact it's on the reserve list.
There's Lake of the Dead's in there.
Lakes of the Dead.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in there. So I think also, wow, a sealed booster box, the TCG low seems, I mean,
TCG's not super reliable for like old school.
For sealed, sealed product. I would look at eBay closed auctions to figure out to see.
I saw one sell for $28.50 on eBay closed, which kind of made me like I told the owner of the box that I would sell it for him and try to get him $3,000, and then like the price is gradually coming down by like $50 a week, and it was sort of like.
The other thing with the packs is you can spend a little bit of you can probably do like instead of like the lowest pack was like I said at 60 or something like that, you could, or 70, you can probably do like 75 per pack or 79.99 or something like that. It doesn't have to be the lowest price of a pack, right? Because they're also paying for that experience to have it open on stream, and the other thing, your time, right? Because you're going to sit there and you're going to open 45 packs, and then you're going to sit there and package 45 packs, and that's the thing that people people forget about. They see me on Pack Club, I'm opening packs for as long as we're all hanging out, but the hangover after that is like I have like a ton of packs to go and ship afterward, and then on top of that, I'm doing those trade things where those guys are like, "Hey, don't forget." I want you to send this card to so and so because I opened it and they made me a deal for it. Yeah. And I'm don't get me wrong, I'm happy to do all that, but it's something you have to factor in to the time that you're going to do it. So the pack price would probably be higher than just a normal base pack price.
It always should. I mean, like packing out a box should always net you higher than the sealed product in the end if you do it right.
Right. So like,
and since the fact that the box is jacked up, I'm not going to get that 3,000 or 2,900 or whatever that a good condition box would get you. But if the packs aren't jacked up looking, who cares what the box looks like?
Right. So I would do that. I would try to sell all the slots ahead of time because you just want to make sure that you're going to sell at least most of the box, or the box that for something that expensive, I would try to reserve those slots. Like, I don't do it that way. I just sell whatever the packs. I mean, you can see the boxes back here.
I think you should leave a few open for people to like nab on stream. Like, you can't just like come into the stream and be like, oh, it's all sold out. Sorry. Like, I think you should leave a few.
I have 30 loose boosters also.
Now you're talking. This actually sounds like fun. Yeah, this is what Jason had this box, and he's trying to figure out what to do with it. And we're like, yeah, it's probably a good time to do an episode on box breaks because this is a thing that's kind of been circulating more and more Magic. And
but it's so ugly. Like, I know how to sell a booster box, right? Like,
yeah.
But since the fact that it's so ugly, and nobody wants to pay the booster box price for it, I want to get a little creative. And it sounds like you have spent the pandemic getting a little creative.
Right. Yeah, I've been doing this since November, like officially. Like Pack Club started officially in November, but I realized, I started.
You don't talk about Pack Club. That's the
yeah.
But we're talking about it. We're breaking the rules for Brainstorm Brewery. Another thing I do on my stream, and this is something that is something you can think about, right? I do this thing called the juice box. So like if you buy 3 packs, you get a pull from the juice box, and the juice box is a 100-card stack of cards. And there's like good cards in there. There's like a Misty Rainforest. There's like other stuff. And there's most of it's like extended art rares, promos. And the reason I do that is to mitigate variance, right? So if somebody gets 3 packs, like it feels bad when they just whiff, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, well, you whiffed, but like, let's also go to the juice box. Maybe you'll hit.
What's the average cost of a card in the juice box?
I'm not sure.
Like,
I'm
not
sure.
the median. I'm like, what's the average? So, like, is it worth it to you? Like, is
What are you
selling 3
aiming
for? Not that good that
Well, it
you're
also
giving
mitigates the
$100
shipping
away?
cost. It mitigates the shipping cost too.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's like they're like extended art stuff. Like let me take a look at what we got in here. So Chatterfang was one of the big hits, but like let's see, something smaller would be like a Saheeli's Artistry, which is like a foil promo. That's something that people might play in Commander. A thought monitor, a sketch thought monitor, which
it's
is
like
probably
between $1 and $100 then.
One and I think like 50 probably.
Okay.
Like I try, there are sometimes people are like throw that in the juice box and there's like expensive crazy stuff in there. We had a doubling season in there the other day. There's a lot of stuff. I don't want to get into the super details, but what I was saying is like you guys have like shot glasses and stuff like that. You can be like, hey, randomly, if you buy a pack, you also get like a spin on the wheel or something like that. And, there's a shot glass, there's a, something else. And, these other things that they can acquire to kind of help level out the variance, right? So that, I don't think you need to do that, but like, I think it's cool when people get a little bit extra for what they're paying for, it just gives them a little bit more incentive, and it also gives them something to take home, and sometimes they just hit. Like we did, man, it was insane. We did this juice box pool where I have a booster tutor in there. So like if you hit the booster tutor, we go back into some packs. We pick a pack and then you get to pick a card out of there. Dude, this guy friggin' hit a extended art Jeweled Lotus out of there. And so it was just like he got his packs. His packs were good. And then he went and got a Jeweled Lotus out of the juice box. So it's just like, it's kind of makes the experience more fun, interesting. And I think that you could probably do something similar with cool stuff that you guys all have laying around, that people would love to have.
That's a great idea. Wow.
Yeah, I think this is really cool that we're having you on and talking about this, because a lot of this is sort of it's like a different version, a different vision of the dispenser at a card store, right? Like hey, we made this is something we used to do at my store. We would make $5 instant collection boxes, but one of them has an expensive rare in it, that sort of thing, right? I've seen a lot of different promotions at that over game stores over the years that, work to varying extents. And it's really cool to see people innovating and figuring out, obviously some of this came about because of the pandemic, but I don't think it's going to leave. It's not going to stop existing because of the pandemic. Just ways to make the entire process to innovate on it, right? And iterate on it. And I think it's pretty cool.
We played the dice game back in 1997, and I was one pip away from getting a box of Weatherlight. Instead, I got a Dwarven Miner.
Exactly.
I think the gamification of things in general is just us gamers love that, right? And it's I think like understanding that in the community is like, we want to. Part of what they're coming for is an experience, right? They want to have this experience. I want to give them a good experience. I want them to have less variance. I want them to, take something home, and, stuff like the juice box and things like that make it interesting. And also people who are watching, we do a lot of giveaways, and sometimes I'll give away juice box pools, or we'll give away other stuff, packs and stuff like that. We do a giveaway like every 15 minutes on my stream. And so like, that's so cool because people who are watching spent $0 and they're just hanging out, and then they get to take something home, and I think everybody wins that way, and it's a cool thing, I think, and it's fun. That's the other part. It's just fun, like doing this gamification stuff. For me, I like gamification. I enjoy,
you like saying gamification.
It's a big word, and it makes me sound smart. So I got to use the words I know to like, look good. You know what I mean? Gamification.
I get it.
Jason knows exactly what you mean, just to be clear. Yeah. Jason's right there on that wavelength with you. This was neat. Thanks for sharing all of your experiences with this. Just so people know, where could they find your Twitch stream at?
Okay, so I made a website, mtgpackclub.com. you could just go there, mtgpackclub.com, and you'll see the Twitch stream, where to buy packs, and how to join our Discord. So you could just go there, and all that stuff's right there chilling for you.
There you go. Well, yeah, everybody, we like to bring you
good advertisement.
Sort of
for
the
us.
we like to bring you the.
What was that?
You know
Jason?
the. Sorry, Jason, just cut in.
It'd be good advertisement for us. We should join the Pack Club. Have a BSB presence in the Pack Club.
That would be cool.
We should.
Ballers. Everything we open, we like put it in the juice box.
Put it in the juice box. Give it to the community.
We're degenerate gamblers and we're lighting Patreon money on fire. Put it all in the juice box.
Oh, man.
You want to put the Japanese foil D-tuner in the juice box? Definitely not. Mail that to me right now. It's my property.
Jason's juice box generosity only goes so
change
far.
my whole policy just now. Okay. Take some of that other stuff out of the juice box. Put it in my box. Send it to me.
Well, we like to let everyone know what is sort of happening, in the world of Magic Finance, and this is one of those interesting takes, spins on it. So this was cool.
Who
all right,
knows but Medina to invent a whole new thing? That's pretty cool, man. I'm real impressed, and I knew you'd have some good ideas for us, so we appreciate it.
Yeah, this was great. All right, before we run out of time this week, everybody, we're going to celebrate DJ coming back by letting him go first in Pick of the Week.
New headset.
It's the same headset.
Who dis?
No,
same
that's your
headset.
Pick of the Week, a headset that works.
Oh.
Okay.
It's working now. I'm going to do my breaking bulk. How about that?
Ooh, yeah, do it.
Okay.
It's a Dissension Red
value.
Common.
John Medina's on here. We're going to give them value. What's that?
It's a Dissension Red Common.
Dissension.
It has no reprints.
Magnetic Theft.
That's
That's not
Muted.
from that block.
they're not from that block.
I'm thinking of the artifact card.
Was
the one that
Dissension
moves
the
in
middle one?
Dissension was the last
Looks
set
like
of
a
the
star.
block.
The last set. It's a red common?
Correct.
Ooh.
Man, that's hard.
I actually named the card I was thinking of, but you're right. It is not even the right block.
It has no reprints. And it spiked 2 years ago, and it is down to a reasonable bulk price.
2 years ago? What happened 2 years ago?
War of the Spark.
Is it Crack the Earth?
It is not Crack the Earth. That's
That's a
Kamigawa?
Yeah.
Betrayers that they want to say? Or Saviors?
So it's got to be something that has to do with Planeswalkers, then? Is that what we're getting at? With
I
War
mean,
of the Spark?
Planeswalkers were not out in Dissension, so that's...
Yeah, but like that doesn't mean it couldn't enter. I mean, I'm just trying to think of what War of the Sparks thing was Planeswalkers.
War of the Spark had to do with multicolor creatures, and that's why Psychotic Fury spiked, Corbin.
Oh!
It is a 1 in a red instant. Target multicolor creature gains double strike till end of turn,
strike.
and then you draw a card.
That was because of Feather. I should have known that.
Feather.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
Feather. Yep.
that was Feather, 100%.
Psychotic Fury kind of...
Good one. Man, I should have
It's-
known that.
It's down to like 60 or 70 cents. I still find them every now and again, and you can
They're
still
probably
sell
in
them.
my bulk not picked out, to be honest.
Got him.
That's a good
You
one. That
broke
card's got-
my bulk, and I bring up card lists when I pick.
There you go. All right, DJ, you made it worth the wait. Give us the double shot here. What's your pick of the week?
Pick of the week, pick of the week, pick of the week. Time for the pick of the week.
So, the Dungeons and Dragons set, it has dragons, it's got dungeons, it's also got a lot of equipment. Nahiri the Lithomancer is a card from Commander 2014 that was reprinted in big ol' air quotes in the list. So the supply is not necessarily increased by a large order of magnitude. But it is a white planeswalker that has the word equipment written on it like 6 times. And so she's hovers between like $9 and $13 or so. I think that if it continues to dodge reprints and is not just buried by some weird product, then it will hit 20 sooner rather than later.
Yeah, probably.
This is definitely more of like a pick up one if you were planning on owning it for your wacky equipment deck, not necessarily a buy a brick of them or buy a stripe of them. Like some of my picks are just, yes, you should buy 50 of this. This is not one. This is just like if you had a stack of like 130 red, white Boros equipment themed cards in your deck and you were like, I gotta turn this into 99, like you might want to make sure Nahiri the Lithomancer is among them before it hits 20 kind of thing.
Yeah. No, that seems pretty reasonable.
And like the only red white commander in this whole set is Bruenor the Battlehammer, which is just another boring equipment. Boros.
Yeah, like they've
that's all they can do for Boros.
They've done that effect. Like there in the past 3 years, there's like 7 or so Boros commanders that have the word equipment on them a lot,
and Nahiri
like,
goes in all of them.
Yeah.
That's a good thing about like if they're gonna do. If someone's really into that, maybe they'll build 2 and then they need 2 Nahiris. Like, if they're going to be boring for Boros, then just pick up the stuff that goes in every deck.
Right. Yep, exactly. Okay, I'm going to jump in. I've got an Ikoria Mythic here. Kinnan Bonder Prodigy. This is a blue-green bear, 2/2. Whenever you tap an on-land permanent for mana, add 1 mana of any type.
Oh, speaking of wizards not having any idea what to do with a color combination.
Yeah, no kidding.
It makes mana. It's Simic. It gets you a land. It draws you some cards. It's value, baby.
It's true.
You're just mad because Gretchen Titchwillow is just a better Thrasios. You're mad that Simic players like me get to be happy once in a while. Well,
once in a while.
Bad.
Once in a while, he says a year and a half after Uro.
You know what? Volo is nothing like all the stuff you're describing. Volo Guide to Monsters is the 3rd most popular commander.
Yeah, card's cool.
In Adventures of the Forgotten Realms. And it is actually a unique thing to do in Simic. So
no, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It does a very Simic thing in like I'm getting value, but it does it in a slightly more unique way.
It does it better. It's better than a bunch of
apology accepted.
Yeah, it's better than a bunch of blue-green ramp
now
cards.
Catch me Wednesday playing my Coma deck.
Kinnan is $5 right now. It's bottomed out at that point.
But it makes infinite mana.
A lot of standard play. It makes a lot of mana. It's a very, very
it makes infinite mana with the thing.
The reason you're not thinking of a card name is because there's 17 different cards that combo with this one, and you just can't decide which one to pick.
Yeah.
Basalt Monolith.
It's both sides of the equation here, because it's both a ramp card that you play early and then all your spells, all your stuff makes more mana, but then also you can pay 7 mana to put a non-human creature card from the top 5 into play. So it's both the ramp and the ramp payoff.
This is going in my Volo deck because that deck only has 1 human.
There you go. Yep. So anyways, Kinnan Bonder Prodigy. There's an extended art version that's worth more. I mean, you can take your pick as to which of the several different versions out with Ikoria you like, but the just base version of the card has bottomed out at $5 and creeped back up to about $5.50. So this tells me it's likely not going any lower, and it seems pretty powerful. It seems like it'll be going up from here.
Kinnan's the Bonder I love that they there's the Bonder's Enclave and the Bonder's Prodigy. They put so much work into having someone come up with a whole thing for Ikoria, and then no one gives a shit because there was a pandemic. There was no story on the Wizard site, and then a new set came out a month later. So it was who are the Bonders? No one gives a shit.
I mean, all that Ikoria did was break every format in existence with companions. And then they moved on from that. So yeah, I agree.
It gave us those full art triumphs that I've already. Yeah. All the ones I bought at the very beginning of the pandemic have already doubled, and I'm still buying them when I find them at their current price because I'm an
Triumphs
idiot.
Are cool. Yeah.
Oh, they're so cool. The full arts are so good. All right, you know what else is so good? Spell Swindle. Everybody's making treasure right now, and Spell Swindler's a counterspell that makes treasure.
Good call.
It's a better Plasm Capture. I almost said it was a better Mana Drain.
I could hear it in your voice.
I heard it coming. I was like, wow.
It's better because you get the mana whenever you want it. It's how is that worse? Yeah. Maybe it's a better Plasm Capture. Look, you make treasure tokens. You spell Swindle a spell, make treasure tokens, and then you win on your next turn because you have a treasure token on
Revel in Riches.
Revel in Riches and Mechanized Production, and the Hellkite Tyrant. There's no wrong way to make a bunch of treasure tokens and win the game.
Yeah, I mean, Revel and Rich is, by the way, going to go up as well.
Yeah, on the basis of like, there's a create one more token. There's a ton of stuff that gives you one more treasure token. And already they have a red goblin that gives you 45 to 50 treasure tokens in an average game of EDH. So like, yep, there's no wrong way to just instantly win the game. And there are at least 3 different ways to do it.
No, Jason.
rules.
We went over this at the start of the cast. This is a very wrong way to instantly win the game, and it's called Hullbreacher.
You know
Right.
what?
Yeah.
You can't do that anymore.
You can't do that now. I do not recommend trying to win the game with Hullbreacher anymore.
All right, John, do you
All
want to give us your pick of the week before we head out?
Yes, I'll give it the pick of the week. I think you guys talked about this on the cast. I don't remember if it was someone's pick of the week or not, but it'll be my pick of the week. It is Wandering Archaic from Strixhaven.
Yeah.
So the regular copy is about $4, $4 or $5. The extended art, I'm a big fan of always getting the extended arts when you can, especially when set releases. Because when the set releases, a lot of times the extended art is pretty close to the regular art, and then you start to see the price start to shift, and they start to get further and further apart. This is already happening with Wandering Archaic. It's about $8 or $9 for the extended art, $4 or $5 for the regular. But I think any of those, if you get the extended art, I think you should go for it. But any of those are just like a slam dunk, in my opinion.
It's so good.
It's a really good card in Commander, and it's a double-sided card too, so a little bit harder to reprint. And it's colorless. I mean, you can put it in any deck. It's great.
And if you're going to get Wandering Archaic, why don't get these Brainstorm Brewery altar sleeves that say, "Did you pay the $2 to put on your Wandering Archaic?"
There you go.
Where can you get those?
anymore.
Where can you get those, Jason?
Patreon.com/BSB
No.
months ago. You need a time machine. You need to act when we told you to act.
Let that be a lesson to you.
Let
There
that
you
be.
go,
We'll
everybody.
do some more
No,
stuff
you can
later,
get them
but
from other patrons. Other patrons can sell
Secondary
them
market.
to you.
we have a
Yes.
reserved list on our altar sleeves. Apparently, they're
We're-
the
we're
cheapest
gonna-
possible thing to send out.
I'm going to
We
put
will
some in the
have-
juice box. You can get it out of the juice box.
There you go. There you go. Well,
Well, hey, you know what? We put needs a ban on Hullbreacher, and that got banned today. So you know what?
it worked.
Those sleeves are undefeated.
True. All right. Well, there you go. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Medina, thanks for coming on as always, man. This was a lot of fun. I say as always, thanks for coming on for the first time in like 7 years. It was great to see you again and have you on the
As
cast.
always.
Thanks for having me on. It was
Whether
good
it's
to break the
2014
silence.
or 2021, every
Yeah.
single time.
One more time, John, where can people find you across the internet?
So you can find me on Twitter, Medina_MTG, MEDINA_MTG, and then also hit up that website, mtgpackclub.com.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much for listening. Thanks for working with us through some technical difficulties. We got DJ back before it was all said and done. This is Brainstorm Brewery, everybody. We'll see you next week.